All right, so polynomials, we talked about adding and subtracting before in the last lesson. This one we're going to talk about monomials. They're the simplest. So mono means one, poly means more than one. They consist of one term that are separated by addition and subtraction. So when you multiply, we've done a little bit of this before. When you multiply, we take our 5 times our 2, which makes 10. But then I have x to the third and x to the second, which becomes x to the fifth. Remember, when you multiply something with the same base, you are adding the exponents. So look at the next one. -3, -8 becomes positive 24. Then I have 1x, and 1x becomes x squared. Then it starts to get a little bit more difficult. I have 1/2 times 3/4. Well, you multiply numerators. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 4 is 8. But then we have to look at the multiple types of exponents. So I have x squared, and x to the 9th becomes x to the 11th. And I have y to the 5th, and y to the 1st becomes y to the 6th. So again, this should be a review for you. Once we start doing the distributive property, this is the part that can seem new for you. So I have 2x times 3x, which makes 6x squared. Then I have 2x times -1, which is -2x. So we have now put together to make one simple polynomial. So x squared times 4x squared is 4x to the 4th power. Then x squared times 3 is 3x squared. It does get more difficult though. So I have -2x squared to the y third times 2x to the y. So we're going to do this one piece at a time. -2 times 2 is -4. X squared times x to the first is x to the third. Y to the third times y to the first is y to the fourth. Then I have -2 times -5 is positive 10. X squared times x to the first is x to the third, but we still have our y to the third. And more difficult. X times x is x squared. X times -6 is -6x. So far, we have multiplied the x to everything in that second parenthesis. We still have the 2. So now 2 times x is positive 2x. And 2 times -6 is -12. You will see here, though, I have two terms that are like terms. So -6x and positive 2x becomes -4x. I still have my -12, and I still have my positive x squared. So you always end up by combining like terms. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 3 is 6x. 7 times x is 7x. 7 times 3 is 21. Combine your like terms, 2x squared plus 13x plus 21. 3x times 5x, 15x squared. 3x times -1 is -3x. -2 times 5x is -10x. And -2 times -1 is positive 2. Combine your like terms. 15x squared minus 13x plus 2. So never forget that as we do these manipulations, we're using properties of equality to produce equivalent expressions. So let's look at the product of the two binomials. Find the product and express it as a trinomial like we just did. So I have x times x is x squared. X times -3 is -3x. -1 times x is -1x. And -1 times -3 is positive 3. These combine, so x squared minus 4x plus 3. So this result is going to go right here. x squared minus 4x plus 3. So what we're going to do is it's now asking you to put in numbers for x. So if I put 0 in for x, I end up with 0 minus 1, which is negative 1, and 0 minus 3, which is negative 3, to make 3. Well, x squared, so if I put 0 in, that's 0. 4 times 0 is 0. And I have a 3, so my answer is 3. I put 1 in. 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So it becomes 0. While 1 squared is 1. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Plus 3 becomes 0. 2 minus 1 is 1 times 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Multiply those and you get negative 1. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Add 3 and you end up with negative 1. So you see, as you go through, you're ending up with the same answer no matter what. 3 minus 1 is 2. 3 minus 3 is 0. So the answer is 0. 3 squared is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 3. You get 0 again. And finally, 4 minus 1 is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. You get 3. So 4 squared is 16. Minus 16 plus 3, you get 3. We can evaluate more complicated products just as we've done in the past with normal numbers. The key will always be to be careful of using the distributive property. So find each of the following more challenging products. So the first one, letter A, you're really going to have to rewrite those because it's saying 2x plus 5 multiplied by itself twice. So 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times 5 is 10x. 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times 5 is 25. So combine your like terms. 4x squared plus 20x plus 25. Letter B is going to end up with a lot more in the answer. We have x times x squared is x to the third. X times 4x is 4x squared. X times 3 is 3x. But then I now have 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times 4x is 8x. 2 times 3 is 6. Now we combine everything. We get x to the third, 6x squared, 11x, and 6. And now we have an even more complicated one. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply the first two together, find the answer, and then multiply the third. So x times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x, negative 4x, negative 12. Combine your like terms, and you get x squared minus 1x minus 12. And we still have x minus 5. So x squared times x is x to the third. X squared times negative 5 is negative 5x squared. Then we have negative 1 times x. Negative 1x times x is negative 1x squared. Negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5x. And our last one, negative 12 times x is negative 12x. Negative 12 times negative 5 is positive 60. If we combine everything, we end up with x to the third minus 6x to the second power minus 7x plus 60. Letter D, you're going to do the same thing. you're going to put it in 3 places. Multiply the first one, and you get 9x squared plus 6x plus 6x plus 4, which becomes 9x squared plus 12x plus 4. And we have the 3x plus 2. So 3x times 9x squared is 27x to the third. Then we get 36x squared. Then we get 12x. And 18x squared. And 24x and 8. Combine like terms. 27x to the third. 36 and 18 is 54 plus 36x plus 8. We're going to write this product as an equivalent trinomial in standard form. So 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times 1 is 3x. 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times 1 is 2. Needs to be a trinomial, so we combine like terms. So how can we use our answer from A to evaluate this product? Well, this product would be the same thing as 30 plus 2 times 20 plus 1. So 30 times 20 is 600. 30 times 1 is 30. 2 times 20 is 40. 2 times 1 is 2, so it becomes 600 plus 70 plus 2, so 672.